We are at the Audioholics Smart House, boots on the ground. I want to talk to you guys about a perceptual listening experience. Hey folks, I'm Gene Delasalo with Audioholics. We got Perlisten in the house. I can't tell you how excited I am. I've been hearing such great things about these speakers. James Larson gave a raving review. Such a pragmatic guy, not someone that always throws around these incredible compliments. He basically said the Perlisten S7ts were the best measuring speaker he's done to date, the best sounding speaker. I was like, I gotta get some of them in here. So I called up the guys at Perlisten, and full disclosure, I asked them to be a sponsor in the Audioholics Smart House. We got some S7ts here. I couldn't fit that big center channel, so I said, you know what, can you guys come up with the monitor version, turn it on its side, and turn it into a center channel, and now we have the S5c. We have the very first one here, guys. It took them, several months to perfect the crossover design. There's a lot behind the scenes on what goes on in these speakers. I want to kind of give you a basic overview. I want to talk to you guys about what I'm hearing in here, just doing a quick setup. Very impressed with what I'm hearing. So basically, just to give you a rundown, and I do encourage you to check out James Larson's written review. He did a fantastic job explaining all the technologies behind these speakers. But just to give you a quick rundown, these are not ordinary speakers. These are really special speakers. The whole driver array, what they did here, it's called a beam forwarding directivity pattern control driver array. And you've got, basically you got 4 7-inch mid-bass drivers. They play the bass frequencies. All 4 of them share the bass load. 2 of them share the mid-bass frequencies. And then you've got this little tweeter array. It's got 2 mid-ranges and 1 beryllium tweeter. All 3 of those drivers will play the mid-range frequencies, but only the middle one, the center one, plays the high frequencies. And the way they did this array, it's kind of like an MTM, but the way they did it is they offset the mid-ranges from the tweeter. That gives it perfect time alignment at the listening position by doing this. It also, with the crossover and the way they did the waveguide on the driver array, that beam forwarding technology projects most of that sound at the listener. It narrows the dispersion vertically, but gives you a very wide dispersion laterally, so that way you get the benefit of the sidewall reflections. And let me tell you something, guys, when you're sitting in the sweet spot, when I got these things set up, it was beaming that sound in my head. I had the really strong phantom center. I haven't been able to get a pair of speakers to image this good since I've been doing my active speakers with the RBH SVT RSs. These things image like bastards. That's how they image. That's the best way I could describe it. The way they measured in my room, I literally set these up in the room. I did a full frequency measurement with both speakers at the main listening position, and I could not believe how flat and linear above the room transition frequency it was. It looked like these things were active. Then I did a wavelet on them. Typically when you do a wavelet, you see a bunch of bumps and ridges in the full range from 20 kilohertz down. These things were flat and linear, just like the best active speakers that I measured. I was baffled. I showed this to Matthew Pose. He's like, this is why I really like the brand. These things are engineered meticulously. And all I had to do, right now I just set this up, I'm running them with a high-pass filter to my JL Audio subs. That's the best integration I got in this room. All I had to do was just time align my subwoofers. I barely did any EQ. That's going to come next. And you could see the response I got at the main listening position and the bass across all 4 seats at the main listening position. Just incredibly linear. The way that these speakers blend together, it sounds like one fluid sound coming at you. And because of that beam forwarding, and you have all these drivers sharing common bandwidth, you get that incredibly high sensitivity, unlimited dynamic range. These things, as you guys know, they're THX Dominus certified. They play at 117 dB, very low distortion. They play much louder than that if you want to drive them that loud. I'll never get that loud, not in here. But I could tell you that we ran it through the ringer. We played some Dolby Atmos music, the new Weekend album, the Gasoline song. Sacrifice. I mean, the whole system just sounded unbelievably excellent with this center channel sounding very similar to the mains. I have the Paradigm Elites in-ceiling speakers for the Atmos and height channels, and then the 2 JL Audio in-wall 13-inch subs. Right now, I'm powering this whole thing off of a Marantz SR8015. I'm going to be upgrading this real soon to get a 2-channel amp in here, the NAD M23, which is a Class D Purify amp, 400 watts at 4 ohms. These things are going to come alive. And let me tell you, there's a lot of different options you could do to get these speakers to play in your room nicely. They have the bottom-loaded ports. If you're going to seal them, you got to seal them before you install the plinth on them, and you got to have them upside down to do it. I forgot that I'm running sealed subs in here, and I ran these ported, and I had some cancellations at 20 hertz. So I'm going to come back, redo this, reseal these subs, or reseal the bass drivers in here, and then set the system up again when I get Odyssey X running at full tilt. So you're going to see a follow-up. You see the measurements I got now, which are really, really great. But when I come back and I get this fully integrated with my subs and then do the Odyssey correction and limit it to 300 hertz, you're going to see some magic happening here. And when you have a speaker that's this accurate and this neutral, you don't need full bandwidth room correction. You see in this measurement how linear this is. Full bandwidth room correction has the very high potential of just messing that response up, and that's not something I want to do. I'm just really happy with the sound as it is now. Now guys, I do like a neutral sounding speaker, but I do like a little extra treble on top. As you guys get older like me, because I'm ancient, I like to boost the high frequencies just a little bit. I found with these speakers, all I had to do was add about 1.5 dB with an equalizer, a high shelving filter of about 1.5 dB, around 16 kilohertz, and it got me the sparkle that I needed that just sounded right to my hearing, to my listening preferences. The beautiful thing about it is these speakers have so much dynamic range that you could go and you could add shelving filters if you want to increase the bass or you want to increase the treble. Now these speakers are not going to shake your house with bass. They're designed to play extremely loud, extremely cleanly with high sensitivity. So really the best way to experience a system like this is to get some really good musical subwoofers in there and blend them into these speakers for exact full range sound all the way down to the very lowest registers of bass. Now they do play great on their own, but just adding these JL subs in the mix with it really brought that extra dimension of low frequencies to give you just a whole cohesive sound at the listening area, down to 20 hertz all the way to 20 kilohertz to the limit of human hearing. Just unbelievable. Now this center channel is very similar to their larger, the 7 series center channel, except it's just missing 2 midwoofers. And it's a lot easier to fit this under a TV, as you can see here. I've got the isoacoustics stand that decouples it from the cabinet. It really helps out. Same tweeter array, it's in the same orientation as the main speakers, and you'll notice it's at about the same height as the main speakers. So when I'm listening in this room and I'm hearing sound effects panning from left, center, right, it's very seamless, it's very fluid. It doesn't sound like there's a discontinuity. And the off-axis response, because it's such a wide dispersion, I could sit at any seat and I get consistent sound. I don't get any lobing effects like you could do with a traditional MTM horizontally mounted speaker. This thing is really well engineered. They look beautiful. I mean, the one thing that really draws people into this, when they come into this house and they see these speakers and you see this gloss finish and this wood grain on it, it's just absolutely fantastic. The finish on it's unbelievable. The front baffle, the way it's contoured with those Textreme drivers, those carbon fiber drivers, it just looks unbelievably amazing without the grills. The only thing I could say is I don't like the grills. I guess it's really a matter of taste if you like them. My wife doesn't like the grills. She likes them topless, so we left them topless, and that's the way it's going to be in this house. I'm really impressed with the back of the speaker, that whole baffle on the back with the metal and then the binding posts on it. Just beautiful. I mean, the gold trim on it. I mean, it's just, these speakers look like $1 million. You know, for a little under 20 grand a pair, these are the speakers to get if you're in the market for a really high-end speaker with incredible dynamic range, very cohesive sound. I'm really impressed. It lives up to the hype that James Larson has basically put in his review. And I can't say enough good things about the speaker system. All I could tell you is make sure you get subwoofers that are commensurate with this level of performance. Perlisten makes some incredible subwoofers. I hope to eventually get them in here, do some demos as well. But I'm very impressed so far. As I said, you're going to see more coming on these speakers. I'm going to be doing some more measurements. I'll be doing some more videos just to show you guys how I get it all tuned in. I'm going to bring Don Dunn here, get his impressions on the speakers. Of course, we'll bring Matthew Pose. He'll try to do some DSP magic. Maybe he could eke out even more performance than I did. And, you know, I'm going to talk to you guys about what my wife thinks about these speakers. I'm going to get her on video maybe one of these days and do a whole overview of this house and the whole experience of doing the Audioholics Smart House. And I can't say enough good things about Perlisten. We're very happy with what we're hearing so far. So if you guys like this video, please share it. Please thumb it up. Hit the subscribe button. Give me some comments down below. Have you had a chance to listen to these speakers? What are your thoughts about Perlisten? I want to hear from you guys. Don't forget about our Patreon channel at patreon.com/audioholics. We appreciate your support. You get direct access to us if you want to ask questions or suggest video topics. And until next time, my friends, keep listening. It's having a problem focusing. Nope, it's doing it again.
You're never gonna get it. You're never gonna get it. You're never gonna get it.